Hello, lovely beings. Today I want to tell you about one of the most amazing Tinder dates I've ever had, making me go from utter paradise and rainbows and butterfly to freaking hell, and then back to where I was. And just so many life lessons came through this, and I really want to share this with you. So my name is Ama Dragona. This is my YouTube videos channel. This is my channel where I love to speak about my travels, about love, about sexuality, about relationships, about self-development. And I hope you'll enjoy this story. So what happened here was, to make it a bit to the point, basically it's a man that I met in Tinder. Our interaction started quite bad because the communication was not the best at the very beginning, where he started off a bit by telling me how cute and have a nice ass, and I want to come and hang out at his place. After I had said that I like people who are upfront and honest. But hey, I asked for it. I asked him to be upfront and honest, so I wasn't gonna ditch him and get angry at him. I told him, well, it's a bit too upfront maybe for me, but thank you for your honesty and clarity. And this, I find, it's a really important thing. If I ask for something, I do not shame the person after for giving it to me. So he didn't start off by saying this. It's really when I said I like someone who's upfront and frank and direct. And he was. I didn't like it, but he was. And when I shared this with him, he said sorry, and we kept on talking, and actually the conversation went really well. We got to WhatsApp and we exchanged some messages, and then I ended up being really excited about meeting this guy because he was making me laugh. Like, fuck, now I see how laughter, actually I think it's not the first time that I'm reminded of this, but I see how laughter is so important. It's so important to have fun with someone. It just creates such an amazing environment to be with. So I was really excited about my date with him, and looking forward to it, and exchanging some funny messages here and there. And so when the time finally came, we spent the whole night together, talking, having a couple of drinks, having fun, laughing, playing games, playing the guitar, talking about deep stuff. I even cried at some point. We made love. Like, we had the whole shablam in one night, and had like only 1 or 2 hours of sleep, and then in the morning he was supposed to go somewhere, so left at like 9-ish. So it was an amazing date experience, and something that made it also really special, because I wouldn't necessarily have slept with him that night because it was so amazing. Like, we were having such a blast. It was such a good night. Like, the sex was not necessary, and if I can say, the drama that can happen inside of me after sex, that also I wasn't as aware of as I am now after living it. But like, it didn't, it could have been like left for later. Like, if there was a possibility to see him on a longer period of time, most probably I wouldn't have been intimate with him. But then maybe we wouldn't have lived that night like it's the last night we can ever live together. And that was amazing because he was leaving 2 days later, and so we just enjoyed. We basically enjoyed, and we took our time. That was incredible, to just be taking the time, be enjoying yourself, not forcing anything, which is a real contrast with some other dates that I had where people are in a hurry and forcing and pushing. But this is the theme of another video. So here I was on my little like love bubble. Like, I had really felt my heart being like yeah, like I really felt like it touched my heart, and that some of the defense and armor that I had around it had sheltered, fell a bit to pieces. Something shattered is the word I'm looking for. But yeah, shattered a bit of this armor, and I felt my heart really open. In general, like not specifically to this guy, I just felt my heart like so much more open. And yeah, there was a lot of love for this guy that I had just spent a magical night with, but this was just a general feeling. And then in the morning I feel so happy, because then he tells me that he wants to see me again before he leaves, and I interpret what he's saying as sure. And this is the point where we didn't understand each other, because he wasn't sure that he could, because he had, well, other relationships were both like, one were on Tinder and abroad, and I'm in an open relationship, and he was having a relationship with other people. So he wasn't sure, but he hadn't told me that. And because we had spent such an amazing night, and that our night was about that night, and now he was expanding the bubble to meet up later, I just like, I was like super happy and super excited and very touched that he wanted to put me in his schedule, which I didn't know, that his schedule was actually quite tight with a lot of things to do and very bad scheduling skills, by the way, which is not the first person that I meet that thinks that they can handle the schedule, and actually they're completely off it. But yeah, and we exchange a few text messages during the day. I'm a little bit taken aback by the fact that there's not a specific hour or something that's starting to be planned. But I'm just trying to be compassionate, thinking he didn't sleep much and probably he's doing other stuff. So I just stay very confident and open. And then I don't have any news between like 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., which realistically are the hours that I thought that I would be seeing him. So to already not have news before was already starting to bring me down. But to not have news at like the peak hours of when I was sure we were gonna meet, it drove me crazy. Like crazy. It was such an intense wave of pain. Like it, you know, I was judging myself. I felt that I was being so dramatic. But the truth is, my heart was really open, and what happened when suddenly he was not showing up, stories had started to come in my mind, and just like interpretation of what is happening. And I have like, not all, but so many of my bad past experiences that just come to mind, like reminding me of like everything that I've been through, every time I've been rejected, that I've been like ditched, that I've been made fun of, that I've been, deceived. And I just have all of these memories coming back, and the pain is like not only about what I'm living right now, it's about all of the past pain that I haven't integrated and that I haven't, healed. And it just starts coming up like this for me to deal with, and I am overwhelmed with stress and emotion and shame and sadness and fear, and just I'm starting to go crazy, and I have no idea what to do with myself. And I know that in the past I felt like I had no tools to deal with this. And as I went through the crisis, I was writing to one of my friends, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. And when I shouted that in a voice note, I was like, why can't he fucking just tell me blah, blah, blah? And then I was like, okay, I know actually what I have to do. So I go and I use one of my conscious development tools, which is called aspecting, where you put the person, you imagine that they're there in front of you, and you just speak to them from your heart, not your heart, your emotions. You just tell them every freaking thing that you have inside of you that you want to let them know, even if it has nothing to do with what you would really say. Because when we talk, like if I'm talking to him, I'm just gonna try to communicate in a way where we can meet each other. But there, I'm just uncensored. I'm just telling him like exactly what is happening inside of me. And I'm surprised about what's coming up because I'm like begging him to love me, which is not true in my reality. I wouldn't beg this guy to love me, but here in this exercise that I'm doing, this is what's coming up. I'm like begging him to love me, and I'm feeling so hopeless, and I'm feeling like I have no way of feeling what I'm feeling if he doesn't validate me. And then this exercise, you have to change sides and you become the person who received everything that you just said. And when I was there was so much heartache as well. It was just like so much pain and detachment and difficulty to connect, and at the same time there was like no real rejection of the other part, just like I can't meet you kind of. And so this exercise, you kind of just go back and forth, and the idea of it is to let out everything that's there, that's fueling your, sadness, anger, whatever it is, and just allow it to move. So for the moment where you actually communicate with the person, you are not talking about, you're not talking to him and 20 other situations that happen to you. You're talking just to him because you kind of allow the energy to move through you. So after that, I had a pool. I was like, okay, I feel ready to write something. And I write something, and exactly as I finish writing it, he texts me to tell me that he won't be able to make it today, but he would really like to see me tomorrow. And I decided to send him this message anyway, because I was like, no, fuck it. I'm not going to change all my plans. I want him to know my truth. So I communicate in honesty, saying that I feel like I've been ghosted and I feel like I've been deceived, and I'm in a state of stress and I'm judging myself, and I actually care about what he thinks, or something like this. And 10 minutes later, he hasn't answered, so I have like another surge of anger. Like, he hasn't looked at it, he hasn't opened it, because he has this thing where you can see. So I erase it, and then I write, I'm too pissed. And exactly then, he answers right away, and he says, oh no, I just started reading your messages. Please send it again. I want to hear your truth. And that touched me again, because in the past, like the pains I've been through, the rejections that I had, these guys did not care about what I was going through. And this guy, I don't understand why he disappeared for so long, but out here in the midst of it, he might never see me again, but here he cares. And it really touches me, and it really feels like, wow. So anyway, we have a few exchange of messages, and I'm showing myself. I'm showing myself as I am. I try to not be overly dramatic, at least, but I don't get at him. I don't blame him for how I'm feeling. And I try to not blame myself either. I try to just accept that I am in this really deep, like, sensitive place. And then we decide to meet up. And the day after, we decide to meet up the day after, before he leaves to take his plane. And at that point, I realize that he's actually just probably overwhelmed by his schedule. And even there, he's like offering me like to meet up from this time to that time. Actually, he's not really telling me this to that, but he's giving me a time frame, like what he has to do, what time he has to leave. And at first I was really like, there's no way I'm gonna go see him if it's like just to say hi, bye, because he had forgotten something at my place. And he hadn't forgotten like socks, he had forgotten a freaking speaker. So I was guessing that he will want to have it back. So the thing is that I was thinking like, there is no way I will just see him like, hi, bye, give you your speaker and leave. I don't want to live that. I want to like live what I had with him again. Otherwise it's not worth it. And I started to question this, and I realized how I have another memory coming back with an ex that was very, very, very unavailable emotionally and in his time. that ex that I was like completely obsessed with. I feel like I have to add at the beginning of the video or something, but that's like I have a really strong, anxiously attached, codependent past, and I've been working on this and looking at it and trying to heal as much of as I can on the way. But you can't just heal everything. Like, the pain has to show up to be healed. You can't just go and fetch the pain. It has to come. So this was a perfect moment for some pain healing. But so I remember this ex who came to my place, and that I would already be missing him because I know he's going to be leaving in the morning, or he's going to be leaving in a few hours. And I could not appreciate, because as soon as I saw him, I was just overwhelmed by how sad I am that we have a limited amount of time and I cannot be with him longer. And I get reminded of this, and I'm thinking, like, it's just kicking me out of the present. Like, I'm not there anymore. I'm just in my projection of the sadness I'm gonna feel. Like, also, it has to necessarily be sadness. I will be missing the person, because if I'm enjoying right now, then obviously I'm gonna not be enjoying, because I will not have that person anymore. And so this person is what is giving me joy. And I think about that, and I'm like, this person is the one giving me joy. Is that true? Is it true that my joy depends on this person, and it can go for this situation, this place? Is that true? I was like, what I loved in my interaction with this guy is how I felt. I felt super alive. I felt desired and lovable. I felt funny. I felt high-vibed energy. I just felt amazing inside of myself. And it is something that can come up in other places, other circumstances, and as long as long as I decide to link it to a person, that it's thanks to this person, I feel like it's not coming from me, but it's what I lived inside of me that I loved. And if I lived it inside of me, that means I can live it inside of me again. I don't need to be with this person. So yes, it just so happens that this guy was amazing. Like, he is really an amazing guy. But the happiness that I felt was, what I felt is actually what I want to find again. I want to find that feeling. I don't need this guy. I just need to be committed to finding this aspect of me, to allowing this part of Amanda to show up again in different circumstances. And the gift really that was given to me through this meeting is that I got to see a version of me today. I mean, like now in these circumstances, when I'm really paying attention, when I'm really aware of what's happening inside of me, I got to see this part of me and remember her. Remember that she exists. Remember that this part of me is here. And happens when I am in the present moment, allowing myself to live the life like it's the last day, like it's the only day. And I thought about it, and I was like, instead of believing the thought, this is so frustrating that I don't have enough time with him, I decided consciously to revert this thought and to believe instead, I am so lucky and grateful that I actually get to see him again. I am so grateful and lucky that I get to spend even 1 minute with this guy. And I am committed, well, it wasn't that easy, but still, committed to stay as much as I can in the present and in what I am feeling right here, right there. And I mean, us meeting up was not far from what I had imagined, so no, it wasn't 5 minutes, but it was like, it was maybe 40, and it was hectic, and like I was with him running some errands, and then we had like 20 minutes, just the two of us, but it's because of the moment, it is the state of stress in which he is. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna find what we had the last time, but I was just feeling really grateful. I got to see him again, because this was not part of the initial deal. This was like an extra present. Actually, yeah, it still touches me, and this thought makes me so much happier, so much happier. And something else that I want to say, like this had a lot of life lessons. Something else that I want to say is that when I was really going through the pain moments, the night, that evening, I was starting to question. I was like, is it worth it? Is it worth going so high in the high to then feeling so low in the low? Like, really, is it worth it? Is it worth having such an amazing time if then it can come with such pain behind? And I was like, well, the only other side of this choice is, or what I know, is basically to feel neutral. But when I feel neutral, and I've felt this a lot, I felt this a lot in my life, but mostly in the last few years, ever since codependency has not been guiding my life. Because when codependency is guiding my life, basically life is a bit like that. It's like super high, super low, super high, super low. But I felt dead inside when nothing was happening, when I was not getting excited by things. I was not getting excited. I was not in so much pain, but I was just like feeling a bit of numbness and disconnection, and it never went to this point of like, why should I be alive? But there was really like, I don't see the purpose of being alive if this is the life I'm gonna have. And what it reminded me here is like this was a really big demonstration of life force. Already I had so much energy, like there was so much energy going through me, and as much in the high as in the low. When I was in the low, I had so much anger and fear, and there was a lot of energy, and there was a lot of creative energy, and there was a lot of like the pain, you know, like I didn't enjoy it because it's pain. It's not nice. It's not meant to be enjoyable. But I did enjoy the fact that I had these memories coming back of past times, and that I had not looked at for years, and then suddenly I had an opportunity to actually heal them. I had a portal going into myself, into those wounds that just opened, and my heart was open, and I just had to kind of stay committed to like trusting that the universe is giving this throwing this my way because I can handle it, and because I've been asking for sexual and love healing, and because I've been asking to get closer to myself, to expand my capacity of loving. So I am taking this as, this is the way to expand my capacity of loving. It's to love and integrate the parts of me that are in so much pain. And it's a process that can be done held. It's a process that can be done with a coach or with any kind of healer, not any kind, but healers or practitioners. And here I didn't have someone, but I've been studying this exact thing, how to help people through this. And so I just decided to freaking heal myself and help myself and be there for myself. And it was amazing. It might even be why I'm addicted to the pain, because I just want to freaking heal this. And the moments that I feel that I go in and that actually something happens, I also really like that moment. I feel really alive. So yeah, it wasn't as enjoyable as being with this exciting new man and feeling myself so hyped, but it's like even more intimate because I'm with myself and I am getting closer to myself, and I'm feeling myself, loving myself more, and bringing love to the pieces of me that need it. Oh, yeah. So this Tinder date was crazy in how much it taught me, and it was the best Tinder date I've ever had. And yeah, and it's just so freaking amazing. So I thought I would share this, and hopefully, I don't know, it brought some light to some different aspects, and maybe, yeah, maybe some questions arise, or maybe some people want to share about their experiences. I really always love to hear about it. But this has been a really strong journey for me, and I am... Strong journey? What am I talking about? Anyway, let me finish this video here. Thank you so much for following me and for listening to this video full. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I love telling you my story. Thank you. Yep, turn off.